which is on the next page. So it says Uvasagula Shlosha Esrei Tevu Shala Bracha. You have that there?
Yeah.
So we talked about the 13 Midas Rachamim, and that they're actually contained in these 8 days. Is order Shlosha Esrei Mekilin Kademoy El Keil Rachum etc. Hakolulim Bitikuna. And that are all included in that. And he went through a thing about a little richas about there are 13, that each one of the 13 is each one of them, and some different ideas about that. The purpose of this idea is lahar v'lachashpia b'malchus. Now we're on page Samach Zayin. Lahar v'lachashpia b'malchus b'beis ima l'sachta v'lakashta. So he says, there's a little note there, but we're going to go down to the big print, and if it says order the betrain Muslim, and it will, as a result of that, it arouses 2 Muslim, notes of Anake, which is number 8 and 13, the his daveg v'lo b'kol she'eris chamesh senuros. So he says, what does it do? That yichud itself arouses the other 13, let me say it again. The hisdavik the ora kol sheris chamesh tenuros shehem, the other 5 that are my part. In other words, you need 13, and this is the other 5. Is aroused as a result of the fact that the 8th and the 13th midah make a yichud. So he said lolofim, and he names them nose avon upesha v'chatal v'nakeh. Now we're going to go to page 68. Page 68 includes hakololim lahoyer, which are kololim, all of them together. They all get done at the same time. Lahoyer v'lachashpil malchus, to shine into and bring shefa into malchus. Because shlosh esrei midas tikunda to call echad behem, so that all 13 goes into each one. V'od yehe moshech. Furthermore, you should also stream down to it, to Malchus law, v'beis ima meshech shem sag, a flow from the name sag asher im mispa osio shorsho, along with the count of the letters of its shorish, hema ya'alo the misbar Chanukah. So we have 63 and 26 is 89. It's a gematria of Chanukah. I just read a little bit more because continue reading on this bigger part. There is a little, I think that we didn't do any of the tib on this, but I'm not sure. So he said, Lamed base. He said, V'yachnu ko. So yachnu ko, so that they traveled and they camped ko. Ko osius, the ko, refers to, and you could see how the Yachanu comes to the concept of beginning tied together with Chanukah, the word Chanukah. So he says, Ko Osius, the Shlosha Yehudim Amarim, which he's going to show on the next page. Al Malchus Shemayim and Nikras Ko. He says the Malchus is called Ko. Ko means here. I guess it's the place. For Ramazah Batevas Chanu Ko, and you could see it like that. On the next page, he shows you the 3 shiluvim, and each one of them, if you add them up, they come to a number 25. So he says this is a kavanah, the kavanah to count up this concept of Chanu Ko, which we're able to see that the 25 letters are in there. V'hoyer panecho v'chameirim, and number Lamed Gimel, he says, and it will to illuminate the face. Hameirim, that is shining. B'shnei shemos kale, and then he shows in a maluim form, and then he shows you this. So he says that if you take Chanukah, he's still talking about lahadlik. Really, the basic idea is that you come down and you count up the letters plus the word chanu, which means the place, or here, this is where it is, and you see the 2 kales in a milui form, which is gematria 370. A gematria shin ayin naharim kadishim, which is to tell you about that. And why are we bringing this down? And we have all of this light now counted up for going into Malchus. Chanu, the Ko, comes into Malchus, which is the 25. It's generating here the Hoyer Panecha to illuminate the face. And we have to figure out what face he's talking about exactly here with these two kales. It's Makriya Shin Ayin, the Lahamtik Shem Elokim de Yudin, and to sweeten the name of Elokim de Yudin, like what he says. Vahei Osius HaShorish, which is Elokim. And Elokim. Let's stop there because he's going to go into more. And let's see if we actually did number Lamed. Let's look at number Lamed on page Samach Zion. You got page Samach Zion there?
Yeah.
Okay, it's very clumsy doing it like this, but it's what we could do. Going on the phrase number Lamed, he said, "B'leil Shemini Yomer Od v'Yisorder L'Rebetrin Muslim." You should say furthermore, and arouse the true Muslim, which are Nosach and Chesed, the Hizdavik v'Le'ora Kol She'eres HaChamesha. And what does it do? It arouses all of the other five. Now we're on page Samaches, Tzinor Shehem, with the other five channels. Let's see, our streams. Shehem Loholofim, Nosem Avo, Nepesha V'Chatara, V'Nake, Akoladem, the Hoyer V'Lachashpil, the Malchus, and all of them as a group shine into Malchus. Mikol Yud Gimel Tikuni to call Echad Bechem, that each one of them. So it sounds like he's saying that these five, each one of them has 13 in it. And he said, V'Kavar his boyer Shabalel Shmini, Shemamshichin bo as a tikun ashmini, that now what we're doing is we're being mamshich this ace tikun, which is notzer chesed, and mamshichin gam es called the tikunim aboyim acharav. And when we get to that one, notzer chesed, everything is going to be contained in it. Ad tikun yud gimel v'nat genake, including ad b'chlal nake v'nake. Behine yesh bezecher od kavana amukim, not od kavana amuka. What is that? Bahari yedura shemiz mazel the shmini chanikro notzer chesed. I guess means holding or guarding chesed. I think. Hu bebechinas hadechura asher betikudi dikna derich. There's a male aspect which is this eighth tikkun, which is that tikkun notzer chesed. Mazel the Yud Gimel and Nikra Venake, and those two who bebechinas nuk. V'chocham shochas mochim ma'arich, and all of the flow of mochin that comes from a arich. Ana mizdavgim as mizavgim as shnei chatikunim e'elo. What we're doing is making a yichud between these two. As the mochin, so yisechu betikun notzer chesed hu shem av, it's masculine. Who Rama B'Tevis Chesed, which is also contained, it contains 72, it's a count of 72, Gematria 72, Ha'olam Mispar Av, V'tikun Yud Gimel, Hu Shem Akia, B'milui Yudin Kazeh. It's an Akia, and it's, here we should Alam B'Fei, etc. Ha'olam Mispar Kasa. So now you're back to an Av Kasa again, which is a Gematria a Regel, he said before. A Rama B'Teva V'Nake, Ha'olagam came Misper Kasa, which comes also that gematria of Kasa. So he said, V'chokavana zu, he derek lachamshak, this kavana, if you have this idea, and you're miskaving them at the Hadlik Ner Chanukah, he said, V'kavana zu, b'hi derek lachamshak, b'layla chashmini, this is the way in which you're able to stream on that eighth night, as called Shisha Chatikunim Notzer Chesed Alofim and those in Abba B'Pesha V'Chanake. So how in fact do all the other five, which are not part of the first 8 days, get streamed in? Because we have on that day, on the 8th day, the Kavana is to make a yichud between the between Av and the Milui of Ekia of Yudin. Because by this idea that we're saying that we're going to make a tikkun, a yichud with the tikkun shmini and tikkun yud gimel. Through this way, mamshichin od chamisha tikkunim shekol echa bechem kol as called the yud gimel tikkunim. You're going to have the other one, so it sounds like it's 5 times 13, 26, 52, and what's the next one? Another, whatever. Tikkunim number 13, of which I get 65. Oh, that gives you to malchus. So that's 65. So so we have, so I didn't count it right. He said altogether you're going to have 6 different ones, tikkunim, which come down in the eighth night. So it causes, as a result of that, a tremendous mila on the 8th day, because everything comes in at that time. Number Lamed Aleph, rather. He said, "V'od yehei moshech lo bebeis ima." Now, at the same time, and we had that in the notes up above. We have over here Moshech Lo Bebeis Ima Meshech Shem Sag, a stream of the name Sag, Asher Im Misbar Osios Shorsho Hem Ya'alu the Misbar Chanukah. So this is another one too, is that we're completing the concept of Chanukah by mixing together the name Sag and the name and the Pashut. So let's see how he writes it. Od kavana be'inyan Chanukah umekavin ozoch k'she'omer tevis Chanukah bebracha. So lahadlik ner Chanukah is the way that the Rab says it has to be read. V'hi lachamshik lenok ha'ara me'ima. So the idea is this, is to stream down to the nook ha'ara me'ima. V'im b'hi b'b'chidu shem kavaya b'michlu is sag, like this. This is Ima's basically sag, at least the chitzonis over some aspect is, and he shows it to us in Milui Yud Kei Vav Kei. And he means the count of this in a gematria. Shorsh the shem sag, which comes before the name sag. V'hu olaku, u'misbar sag u'misbar ku, yachdav olim u'misbar peites, which is a gematria of Chanukah. Shuhu misper Chanukah, v'hu mischala b'tevis Chanukah atzma, and it gets divided into the name Chanukah itself. V'hine olasag v'ku hu shem kavaya pashut. So here, this is another aspect when you say that final Chanukah in the end of the bracha there, that you're actually bringing this in as well. Then it says number Alamed Beis v'yisa v'yachnu ko. So he says that phrase, and you should travel and you should camp. So he said, let's take this apart. He says there are 25 letters, the Shlosha Yehudim, of the 3 Yehudim that we're talked about as a result that we have on the next page. El Malchus Shemayim Nikra Ko. Ramozech Bechinas Chanu Ko. And now we see that this is another stream. And he says, Od kavana yesh b'tevis Chanukah. There's another kavana when you get to the word Chanukah. A lashon Chanu Ko. He says, what is this? V'harech is boyer la'el, shebehadlokas ner Chanukah, mekuvana the shloshach Yehudim. You have a kavana there to the 3 different Yehudim. V'heim kavaya ekya, kavaya elokim, kavaya adni, which we know. Sheheim olam b'mizber ner, they come to that concept. B'shemas hanal olam b'mizber ner yesh ko, 25 osios, so 25 letters. V'zos ha'kavana kan Chanu Ko, Shako, Osius, Yachno, Al Hazaz. And now he wants to say this is a flow coming from Im, I guess, that they're now encamping in Zah. So let me see where we're at here. So we're now on number Lamed Gimel. If we look up at the top of this page, and we see that the phrase here, V'hoyer Panav Ameirim, and illuminate that Panecho, and to illuminate your face, Hameirim b'shnei shemos kale malayim, and then we go back through here's the 2 kales, going downwards. Gematria Shin Ayin Naharim Kadeshim. And what's the purpose of having that shine? Purpose of having shine into the nook. I think that in this case we have Aleph, we have the Milui of Elokim, which is Gematria 300, coming into that. And then he also adds, you're also bringing the He'osius HaShorish, all of that together. And I'm sure exactly how that goes, so let's look at number Lamed Gimel. We'll look at the light prints that we just read it. So he says, let me get a little more focus here if I can. So it says, so now let's get back to that. He said, or we mentioned this previously, Shabir Rav Kavanas Milas Sha'asa. So the Rav is explaining the Kavana by the word Sha'asa. So we know that Shin Ayin, the first two letters, come out to the Gematria 370. Hu Shin Ayin Naharim, that's the 370 lights that are shining off of the face of Eric Anpin, I think. Shehem Shnei Shemos Kale Malayim Aleph Lamed Ve Lamed Mem Dalet 185. So then he says it again. Ha'olim Mispar Shin Ayin 185. 185 is 370. Vehem Meirim L'Shem Elokim. And what did they do? So now these, which are coming from a very high place, they're shining into the name Elokim b'milu yudin the osas Shin Kazeh, which we understand that they're shining into the Shin, which is the gematria of Elokim b'milu yudin. And he shows it, Aleph Lamed Fe Lamed Medalad, etc. But Sirach Hamisha Osius Shal Shem Elokim, and joined together with it the 5 letters of the name Elokim v'yachad Haim Osius Shin Hey. That's the Shin Hey that comes from the Shin Aleph, the Shin Ayin shining into the Shin Hey. Umeir Aleichem Hashin Ayin Narim Lam Tikum, and that's that idea always coming over to make a sweetening. Number Lamed Dalet says, where was number Lamed Dalet? Okay, this is another piece. So let me just get this over here. Number Lamed Dalet. Reading the big print up above. Lana b'nei malachim v'lano b'nei malachim b'nei Rachel imenu. And for us, we're like the children of the king of royalty, the children of Rachel imenu. Nasa aleinu, or Panachal, let it bring to us or travel to us, or Panachal Hashem, the light of your face, Hashem. Ki im b'chamak or chaim, because with you is the fountain of life. B'orech nira or. So he said, in your light we can see light. Rava Pnei Sevel, and I guess it will multiply the Pnei, the face of the world. Medeshin Beisecho, from the ashes of the sacrifices, I guess. L'nachal adenechel tashkem, and etc. And the flow will flow of your adenechel. Now let's see what we have over here. That was number Lamed Dalet. So we have, let's see, where was Lamed? Where would be Lamed Dalet? Very short. So he says on this one, Kan mispalo sheyar, now he's praying, sheyoir ha'aras hashen ayin naharim, that should have an illumination that's coming from the radiance of these 370 letters. Gam, the parts of Nook, that it's also going to go, you have to have this idea that's enough that it comes to Zer Anpin, but it also has to come to the Nook. So he says that's what he's saying here. Hanikras Rachel, who is called Rachel. Umemela Yara Gam Aleinu B'nei Yisrael, and also it will shine on us, her children, the B'nei Yisrael. Hanikraim B'nei Rachel. Sha'an Banim the Shechina Gedusha, because we are the children of the Shechina. Now there's a little bit more on the top of page Ayin. We're on page Ayin. So he said, "Uvukol sekulas hadlakas and nevis halados." So from the power of the energy that's developed as a result of the lighting of these candles, nihiyach anachta b'tzachotzayin v'anshech hachomim v'yeduim, and all the great people, nachal levei makor chochma, which is a breath of a phrase, a brook that is flowing the fountain of chochma. The das Hashem b'cha, why? To know your name. Name usually goes with Malchus. Of the Netzach Hodecha Hareiner Niflaos, and from the Netzach of your Hod, I guess one inside the next, I'm not sure. Hareiner Niflaos, you should show us miracles or wonders. V'techazenu Ranecho and Neda B'shuv Kol Tzion Berachame. V'ha'alos el Pnei HaMenorah Zachav Kula. So to cause to what? To elevate on top of the face of the menorah a gold on all of it. The Vagola al Rosho, and that basin on top of the menorah, I guess, which holds the oil. The Sheva Nerosecho Alecho, and also on there, the 7 different candles. Shiva Shiva Mutzakos, the Neros, which are, I forgot what Mutzakos mean. He says where it's solid. It said, translated solid. Sheva v'sheva mutzachos, the neros, which are solid for candles, I guess strong. Ashechel al rosha, which is on the head. O melech, the king. Biyofyo techazenu hanenu, that in his beauty, that his life should be able to see or gaze at. Mochered bekisra, so he said muktar bekisrik sarim, and crowned with crowns of crowns. V'hoya kol ha'aretz safa achaz l'kulam, so all the world would be just one language. Yiyeh l'ratzon imri fi v'hagyon libi l'vanecha Hashem surei v'goali, and that's how he finishes it. So he said v'yi noram Hashem. So going through this, Elokeinu aleinu maaseh yadenu konano aleinu maaseh yadenu konanehu. And then it says Tom. I'm not sure, he has no explanation. So I'm not sure exactly what to do with that. Now we're moving to page Ayin Aleph. Do you have page Ayin Aleph?
Yeah.
That's the new ones. Did you find it? Still looking?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at the page. So the page wants to talk about the birchas, the bracha, birchas, the hadlik ner Chanukah. So he says in the siddur of the Yareh, nosef b'kol teva kavana l'layla achas b'leil rishon. It's going to look like this. Now we kind of went through this a little bit in the introduction, and he says on the word baruch. The word baruch, this is interesting. I remember that Rabbi Memran that talked about this. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. The hamshech, and he says, going on, he says, La hamshech shefim bekeser elyon. So we're talking about keser elyon, it's Eric Anpin. The beis zivugi chagat da'atek v'arech v'Eric Anpin. The two different yehudim. One is from the chagat of Atek, and the other one is from the Arich, the Chagat of Arich. So then he says the first one, and he's going to say he has the same lineup that we had before. Let's see how this goes. He says Zivug Panimi is where the Havaya Ekya, and you have the Yud inside of the Aleph. So it starts with Aleph, and then he calls this a Yichud Panimi. And we'll just take it for his word. That's what it is. And then you go to so he says that's the yichud that takes place in the Chabad. The next one is Zivug Chitzon, where this time the Yud is on the outside. So you have to have a Chitzon and a Panimi, so that's what we have here. Those are the two yichudim. The Nai v'Chagat, and this is for the Nai of the Chagat. No, the Nai v'Chagat, no, not Nai of the Chagat, the Nagi and Chagat. The Chagat Atik of the Chagat Atik. So as we know that he makes the Chagat into a partzuf, and that's the way he works on that level. Next one is Zivug Panimi, and he shows you the same Zivug again. That's from the Chabad that goes in the Chabad, but we're talking about here Eric Anpin. A Zivug Chitzon, which is the Yud on the outside. The Nai v'Chagat, the Chagat Darich. So one is for the Chagat Atik, and I think I did this wrong, and the other one is the Chagat Darich. So he said the first one is is to make a, let's look at the second line. The second line, Zivuk Chitzon, the Nai V'Chagat. And which Nai Chagat is? It's the Nai Chagat the Chagat. That's the way he says, in the lower part, the lower 6 spheros of Chagat, the parts of Kol Chagat. And the next one is the Ziva Benimi, the Chabad, but now we're talking about Eric Anpin, I believe, and we're talking about the Nai Chagat, the Chagat Darich. Oh, he says it. So he says the Chagat Darich. Oh, so you have these Yehudim take place as a result of these shiluvim take place, or these are mochim, as a result of saying the word Baruch. We have a little bit of time. So he says at the underneath that, and we're still at the top, he says, Yakavan the Hamshik Shefem Bezivuk Benimi the Chaba the Ma Uben the Arich Anpen. So he says it would be the Yichud that would take place in the upper level of the Chabad, of the Ma ben the Eric Anpen. Or the Zivuk Benimi, the Chabad the Ma Uben the Abba Ve'ima V'yaso. So it's going to go down like that. Let's look at number Lamed Hey. It's not that long. We're running out of time here. So he said, Baruch Atah Hashem. He said, Rishom Aleichem Keil Rachum V'Chanam. He says at the same time that you're saying that, if you look at the word Baruch up above, it has the word Keil on it. So this is also helping us to get an idea of that flow we're talking about. So he said, B'birchas l'chadlik yesh shlosha as eser tevos, as we said before. V'heim mekuvana keneged the shlosha eser mechilin derachmi, shehem shlosha eser tikun diknech the erikanpen, el kel rachom v'chanam, etc. So he said, V'lechein sark l'kavin b'kol tevel min habracha, shehu mekavin keneged the tikun echod, miyud gimel tikun diknech. The Teva's Baruch Mekavon Keneged Tikun Kale. So that Baruch, you see, that's the first one. Teva Ata, when you get to the word Ata, next word, Mekavon Keneged Tikun Rachon, V'Teva Chavaya, Mekavon Keneged Tikun V'Chanim. Okay, thank you very much. That's it today. Call to.